Hey everybody, this is basketball loving Dr. NBA. Today, I've got an interesting story to tell. In this world, families are essentially considered very precious groups, so the head of that family should take care of them and lead them in the right direction, and should be more responsible than anyone else in that group or family. That's why that position is usually for the older and much more experienced elders in that group. But that's just in general. There are small amounts of cases, because of unfortunate reasons, where there are young people that have to take responsibility of their family at an early age. These people in these situations are usually called child breadwinners, and these words are also used in the sports world as well. On that note today, an 18-year-old that debuted in the NBA and had to become a leader right away, and is trying his best so the team could survive. This child breadwinner in the basketball world, Devin Booker, is who I'll be introducing today. He was complimented by many superstars in his debut year, and he had gotten the attention as a prospect that would lead the NBA's future. Even though he was a rookie, he was always confident on shooting, whether or not there was pressure on him, and he put up stats that were on par with former legends of the NBA. But ironically enough, through all these bright performances that he showed, he had an emptiness that was flowing through him. What could he possibly not be satisfied with, that at the end of every season, his facial expression was full of concern? We will get into this in this video. (1996) in Michigan, US. Devin Booker was born in a city called Grand Rapids, and he was a mix of black and Mexican blood. And his father, even though he only played 32 games, was an NBA player with quite a bit of playtime, who went from a bench to a key player. But not being able to renew his contract, he would have to go to Europe by himself in order to take care of the family financially. So, Devin Booker, who was a year old at that time, was taken care of by his mother alone. And because he had the athlete genes flowing through him, Booker showed potential in basketball at a very young age. When he was 12 years old, he watched his father play for the first time while he was visiting Italy, and from there, he had gotten the dream of becoming a basketball player. And seeing his son's devotion, Booker's father, in order to fulfill his son's dream, would finish the season and announce his retirement, and head back to the US so he could furthermore see his son's potential grow. And a few years later, after Booker finished his first year in high school, his father, in order to send Booker to the NBA, had decided to train Booker himself. At the time, they had lived separately, but after convincing his mother, his father took Booker back to his home, and at the same time transferred school successfully, and like how his father planned, started the hard training. Having to train with his father's coachings while attending school, he practiced his shots and worked out relentlessly, and also learned how to play against dirty plays and whatever it took to survive in the rough pro level world. He managed to absorb all the information needed in 3 years. So every year, Booker, who was improving rapidly, in his 10th grade had an average of 22.8 points, and in his 11th grade had 29.7 points, and in his graduating year, he had an average of 32.8 points, and was now on the radar as an elite US prospect. Also, he attended many camps for high-tier prospects, and he showed the scouters his potential and skill with no regret. So he was able to enroll into the prestigious Kentucky University, and there, he showed off his impressive shooting skills. His skill trait was mostly based in mid-range and three-point shots, and he was good on transitions, and even though Booker was only a bench member, his average points was only 1 point shy from the top point getter on the team, showing he had great point getting skills compared to his game time that was given to him. As a result, Kentucky, out of the 14 teams in his conference, had won the championship without any losses, and Booker was known as the best bench member and got the 6-man award, and in the NCAA tournament made it to the top 4. Now getting confidence, after accomplishing many things, he entered the 2015 NBA draft. And there, he was picked 13th overall and ended up wearing the Phoenix Suns uniform. On this day, His father, Melvin Booker, congratulated his son, Devin Booker, on his NBA draft. And for the 3 years his father had spent on training him, he was happy that it was not a waste of time at the end. October 28th, 2015, the opening game was before his birthday, and Devin Booker entered the game as an 18-year-old. And out of all the players from university, he was the fastest player to debut in NBA history. And it was his first step to showing his superstar potential stats. And precisely 2 months later, Booker had gotten his place as a starting member, and he started to show his true potential, one step at a time. And out of those, what was really impressive was his steady and non-hesitant jump shots. His shot form and aim were perfect right off the textbook, and there was no awkwardness or forcefulness in his shot timing at all. And his accuracy was on another level as well, so on open 3-point chances, he knew his shots would go in even before he shot them. And plus that, his mid-range jump shot while dribbling down the court was also in great condition, and even if a defender was pressure guarding him, if there was the slightest opening, he would confidently jump up right away and take that shot. And with those, he had recorded more than 30 points 6 times. And so, many fans had started to cheer him on and called him the rising sun of the Phoenix Suns, and he was named the best 5 out of all the rookies. Also, he was a rookie under 20 that put up 1,000 points, which made him the 4th player to do that. The superstars that were able to accomplish that before him, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. So Devin Booker was analyzed as a player that would be just as good as them in the future. And LeBron said in an official interview that Booker was the best prospect out there, and other star players had also complimented Booker in the past. And with that momentum, he entered his 2nd year to show more great performances. Now it wasn't just normal shots. He started to shoot jump shots that were hard to predict, with offbeat movements that opponents couldn't read, and fadeaway shots that avoided the defender's blocks, and turnaway fadeaways that he would do while he posted up, etc. He used every skill that could be used with his jump shot, so defenders were always anxious and on their toes because of his various types of offensive tactics. And aside from shooting, he had decent athletic abilities and a great basketball IQ. So if a defender was only focusing on blocking his jump shot, Booker would use that to his advantage and drive the ball with his dribbling skills. And because he had great focus and a strong fighting spirit, in important situations with only a few seconds left in games, making clutch shots and buzzer beaters was pretty much his specialty. And so, even though he was only in his 2nd year, he had the most points in his team, and Booker became the power of the Phoenix Suns right away. But on March 24th, 2017, there was a huge incident. On this day, against the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, Boston Celtics, he put up 70 points by himself, putting up unexpected stats. In NBA history, players that put up more than 70 points were 5 players in total, including Kobe Bryant, and Devin Booker put his name with the superstars up there. And precisely a year and a day before that, after facing off against Kobe Bryant, he had received a gift, purple basketball shoes that had Be Legendary printed on it. And Devin Booker, who was drafted 13th, just like legend Kobe Bryant, had put up a legendary record just like him in the NBA. And in his 3rd year, he had an average of 24.9 points and also won the 3-point shot contest, and right away was known as the best shooter in the NBA. And after the season ended, Phoenix, wanting him to be a franchise player, offered him a $158 million maximum extension contract for 5 years, proving that Booker had the potential to become a future superstar. But the only thing they could expect was from his potential alone. It was not a guaranteed fact that he would be a superstar in the future and live up to the expectations that everybody expected of him. In his 3rd year, he had become the leader of the team at such a young age, and the team stats were absolutely terrible. In the Western Conference, 14th, 15th, 15th. Opposite from Booker's stats, Phoenix was in last place twice in a row, and they were in the bottom of the NBA food chain. And to be honest, the rest of the players, aside from Devin Booker, were really hard to watch in general. In fact, Phoenix was pretty much a one-man team. Booker didn't just put up points, but had to control the movements of his teammates as a passer, and had the position of ball handler as well. But his speed and athletic abilities were just average, so he didn't drive the ball often, and he relied on his range shots way too much. Plus that, there weren't many team plays and combos, so as time went by, and as the opposing team's defense kept getting better, his point-getting skills were becoming less useful for the team. He may have put up a lot of numbers, but his contribution to wins were at an all-time low, and his defense was known as an automatic door. That's how much he lacked on defense, and there were quite a few fans out there that criticized him for that. And this point of view had gotten worse because of mockeries of Booker that were posted online in the social media. And in his fourth year in the 18-19 season, they were last in the Western Conference. So, people had started to call him a stat bust and didn't expect much from his potential anymore. At the time, people expected the number one pick for Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton, and Devin Booker to have great chemistry. But once it came to show, they couldn't even coordinate a simple screen play with each other. And to make things worse, these two starting members both were terrible on defense. So the team couldn't escape their losses and were left at the bottom of the food chain. And once, there was a day when Booker had commented on something Ayton had done wrong, which ended up in a fight with both of them getting heated up and swearing at each other. And aside from that, there was another rookie player that had frustrations with the head coach. And in games, Booker had showed signs of anger, etc. And the atmosphere inside the Phoenix Suns with their consecutive losses were only getting darker. And because the team's strategy was not getting better, Devin Booker was still in charge of everything on offense. And even if he put up 59 points himself, they would still lose by a 33-point deficit. And in the next two games, he would put up 50 and 48 points, but he was still not able to lead the team to victory. That's how bad the Phoenix's gameplay was. And the child breadwinner, Devin Booker, who worked his ass off all the time, would eventually sprain his ankle and finish the 18-19 season at last place in the league. It was a disappointing result, but in his fifth year, in the 1920 season, something had changed for sure. After finally getting a much-needed point guard on the team, Booker was finally able to let go of his role as the passer. So the rhythm inside the team's offense had gotten much smoother. And even though DeAndre Ayton was suspended for 25 games after a drug test, and the atmosphere in the team was bad, the team's strategy had gotten better, so they had surprisingly won a lot of games from the start of the season. And in the middle of that was obviously Devin Booker, and his point-getting skills had changed into being very useful. Until January 24th, 2020, playing 42 full games, he had an average of 26.7 points, and his shot success rate was at 50.9%, which is pretty high for a shooting guard. And he also got an average of 7 free throws a game, with a 92% success rate, leading the team to many victories. Devin Booker was playing the best and happiest basketball of his career. But 2 days after all that, he had gotten some terrible news. And that news was that the person he respected, legend Kobe Bryant, had passed away in a helicopter accident. It was such a sudden incident that left all the fans in shock and in tears. And memorial services were held for Kobe all over the world, regardless of the sport genre. And on that day, in the scheduled NBA games, there was a moment of respect for 24 seconds. And Devin Booker, being on that spot at that time, wearing the shoes that Kobe Bryant had gave him 5 years ago, expressed his condolences. Putting up 36 points that day, Booker put up 32 points the next game and won by a 29-point deficit, and at the same time surpassing his role model Kobe to become the 4th youngest player to reach 7,000 points in NBA history. After that, he had gotten a lot of attention from the fans, as he was showing great plays as a shooter, and he was picked as an All-Star for the first time shortly after. Be legendary was what Kobe had wrote on his shoes. And of the many accomplishments needed to becoming legendary, Devin Booker had made his first step by making it to the NBA All-Stars. And he could become a point leader and MVP, and also an NBA champion in the future. And not being able to enter the playoffs yet, those 3 accomplishments probably might seem like a dream to him yet. But he is only 23 years old, but he is in the top 10 in the NBA already for offense. So if there is a team rebuild or so, and he gets a trustworthy teammate, his career will probably make its way to the golden path. Will Devin Booker, like his role model Kobe Bryant, be known as a legend when he retires? We will see how it turns out in the future.